and welcome to our next edition of Cooking with Michael. First of all, as always, I want to say thank you to all of you who are watching the episodes every week, tuning in Saturday night, 8 o'clock for our new episode every week, or watching it later on throughout the week. Really do appreciate it. It's great to see so many people watching. We just added a few more subscribers this week, including one from India, so I'm really excited to see that. We've even got some comments as well from other parts of the country as well as other parts of the world. So even though we have a small subscriber list so far, we're getting better and we're growing every day. Loving every minute of it. So again, if you know somebody who would enjoy it, send a link to them, have them subscribe, have them comment, because obviously the more comments, the more subscriptions gives us more people and more chances for us to show up on other feeds and for us to really grow this thing that we're doing, which we love to do every week. Today's a little bit different, sorta. We're doing what I'm calling the Kidney Stone Spectacular. That's right. This past Sunday, I ended up with a kidney stone, so I've been kind of out of commission for a little while. But the show must go on. So I'm doing this with some light painkillers, and of course, instead of the Pinot Grigio, which Andrew, I do thank you every week for that. But this week, we're going to unfortunately have to stick with straight cranberry juice because I've got to get rid of this thing. So bear with me. I figured if I'm going to have a kidney stone, I might as well do a little bit of cooking and have a little bit of relaxation as well. So let me take a little bit of my cranberry juice. All right. So, yeah, no Pinot Grigio. Oh, there's Phoebe. She's come to join us. Oh, she's had enough. So, no Pinot Grigio tonight, but we're still going to have a great dinner. We're going to do a great date night, try and relax, and just have some fun with my date night, my loved one, my spouse. So, even though I have a kidney stone, I'm still going to show you how to make a great, great dinner. So tonight we're going to make shrimp Creole. This is actually a great recipe from New Orleans, one of my favorite places to go. Loved it there. And this is a secret New Orleans recipe that you can get in any tourist shop in New Orleans. Anyway, but it is a great recipe. I make it a lot. My date night loves it. We've been eating it for years. So I'm going to show you how to make it, show you what's... it's real easy. You're going to think, oh my God, it's shrimp Creole. It's got to have a lot of spices, things like that. It does. But again, as you know, everything we do here is designed to be easy, fairly quick, fairly inexpensive, great food. And Phoebe came back and left again. But also designed to just have a great date night and great conversation. So sit back, relax, enjoy. When we come back, I'll start showing you the different ingredients that we're going to use to make this, and we'll go from there. So again, hope you enjoy this one. I'm going to work my way through this the best I can, and we'll go from there. So sit back, enjoy. Thank you again for watching, and let's have a great, great date night episode making a phenomenal shrimp Creole. Thank you. All right, and we're back. Real quick, before we get into making the Creole sauce, I want to talk about the shrimp. We have this debate pretty much every episode. Do we do frozen versus fresh? As you know, I typically do fresh. I go to my fishmonger, I get the fish filleted, or I get fresh shrimp, I get fresh clams or oysters or whatever, mussels, whatever I'm doing, and I cook them here myself. In this case, though, I'm using frozen shrimp. The reason being is when I make this recipe, I use salad shrimp, which is a really, really tiny shrimp that you'll use on basically shrimp salad, because I want more shrimp in the Creole, kind of more bang for your buck. As we talked about, this is a blueprint. Okay, we're showing you the blueprint of how to make this. You can customize it the way you want. That's to your taste, to your audience, to your loved one, to your date night, whatever. So you can use the different types of shrimp. You can use the larger ones, the smaller ones, whatever is easiest for you, whatever you like the best. I'm going to use frozen salad shrimp because you really can't get fresh, at least around here, I can't get fresh salad shrimp. I can get fresh of the bigger shrimp and then cook it and do it that way. But in this case, I'm using frozen. So that's the way we're going to do it, and I hope you enjoy it. Again, you can adjust as needed. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this down, and we're going to start making the beginning part of it. So let me just put this down here. All right. So that is the big pot. We're going to get one of our larger pots. Okay, you can see a basic larger pot. The reason being is, as we make this, you're going to see it'll seem like we're making not a lot, but when you add the shrimp and everything else, it does actually make a nice amount. So first things first, we're going to turn the oven on to medium high at first. Okay, I'm going to reach over and I'm going to grab just my household, kitchen spatula, and then I'm going to take a quarter cup of oil. Okay, get them on my measuring cup. I'm going to take a quarter cup of oil. I'm going to use olive oil. Now, if you watched last week, I did say that when you're frying, not to use olive oil because it doesn't really fry very well and it tends to burn a little bit. In this case, it actually does very, very well because you're going to mix it with flour to get what's called a roux. That's spelled R-O-U-X. R-O-U-X. I swear there's nothing in the cranberry juice. But we're going to make a nice roux. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quarter cup of the olive oil. And a roux is a French word for, actually I don't know what it's a French word for, but what it basically is it's a starter for this, and it's going to turn brown when you add the flour into it. So then we're going to take a quarter cup. Let me make sure I got all the oil out of there. All right. Put that aside for right now. Then we're going to take a quarter cup of flour. Okay, so we got a quarter cup of flour. And what it's going to do is you just put it right in there. And it's going to make the roux. Sauce. Whatever roux stands for. I really don't know, actually. So then I'm going to just basically mix it together. Okay. My hand out of the way there. I'm going to mix it together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it get nice and hot, and when it's just starting to brown, you can see it's a little bit thick, by the way, because the flour and the oil mixing together does make it a little bit thick, which is fine, which is what you want. Thickens up the oil, but then as it gets hot, it'll thin out a little bit more. Once the roux gets brown, then we're going to put in vegetables. We're going to put in celery, and we're going to put in some onion powder. It's not really a vegetable, but it's onion powder. And we're going to put in a green pepper. So for this, you want to do one large green pepper chopped finely, and you want to do about a cup of celery. And you want fresh celery with some of the leaves still attached. And you want to chop that fine, okay? And what happens from there is you put them in and you cook them till they're nice and soft. You can see that the roux is starting to boil a little bit and starting to come together, which is nice. And then, of course, the onion powder, you're going to do several shakes of the onion powder. You can use fresh onions. You can use scallions. I like the onion powder because, again, it's just a little bit quicker. And I'm not a big fan of chopping up onions, to be honest with you. It's just me. But I did take the liberty ahead of time, by the way, of chopping up my vegetables. My celery and my green pepper, so I'll put that there. Again, you're doing one large green pepper, and you're going to do about a cup of the celery, all chopped finely. I didn't really measure a whole lot with the celery because it put a little more, a little less, it's okay. I did do, it's basically 4 stalks of it off of the bunch that I got at Aldi. All right, put that back down. All right. And then with some of the leaves, you can see there's still leaves attached to it. That does give it a nice appeal to it, and it does also still give it a nice flavor. So again, we're just cooking the roux here. Again, you want to get just a little bit more brown, so we're going to let it sit there for a minute and cook. I'm going to reach over and grab some more of my cranberry juice. I'm not a big fan of cranberry juice either, but I got to drink this and tons of water to make the kidney stone go away. But again, can't disappoint my fans, so I am here cooking the food, which actually, to be honest with you, I've been kind of laying down all day, so it does get me going. So get me up and get me around. So all right, so we have in there the roux. You can see it's hard to tell again with the lighting, but we do have it is just starting to brown just a little bit, which is good. You don't want to burn it, so you want to kind of keep an eye on it, keep stirring it, what have you. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to put in going to dump in the green pepper and the celery. Okay. Get all of that in there. And again, stir this around. Now, you want to do this until it is nice and soft. Okay? It'll actually take up all the roux off the bottom of the pan, or bottom of the pot, and that's what it's supposed to do. Okay? You want to keep stirring this until it's nice and soft, like I said. You do not want to burn it. Again, do not walk away from it. I tell you this a lot, actually. We don't want to walk away from the food that we're cooking, especially when you have to keep it to a certain taste or a certain consistency or whatnot. So then I'm going to take onion powder, and you're going to see basically, oops, actually this is a new onion powder. I did not realize that. I take the lid off the onion powder. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to, and you're going to shake in there. Okay, might seem like a lot, but, and you can always add more if you want as the cooking goes on. But this gives it a nice start, and you keep stirring this around again until they're nice and soft. Okay, so I'm going to pause us, and I'll come back when this is nice and soft, and we'll go with the next round. Okay, so I'm going to pause us, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. It's just about done with this part. Okay, so now we're going to start adding the other ingredients. Next thing we're going to add in here is we're going to add garlic. It calls for 2 cloves of garlic. And as you know, I use the minced garlic, again, because it's just easier. So, and of course, 1/2 teaspoon of clove garlic. I apologize. 1/2 teaspoon equals 1 clove of garlic. So we're going to take basically 1 teaspoon, and that will equal the 2 cloves of garlic that we're looking for. So you can see we take that, we put it in there. And we're going to keep stirring this. Again, you want to be careful not to let this burn. Okay, because again, if you have to turn the heat down a little bit, you can do that. That's fine, because you actually, when you put everything else in, you're going to turn it down and let it simmer for a little while. So once you stir the garlic in there, you're good. And now we're going to go to the next thing. Next thing is we're going to take 1 can of tomato paste. Okay, again, Aldi brand tomato paste. Okay, I'm going to open this up. And then I'm going to, after I open it up, I'm going to put that in there for just a tight second. All right. So we're going to just open it up here. And again, why kind of keep stirring while you're opening it up too, just so it doesn't burn and stick on the bottom. Okay. You can open it up ahead of time if you'd like. I just didn't do that because I didn't think about it. I blame the kidney stone. So, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the tomato paste. We're just going to put it in there. And I always leave the lid on partially when I do this because it helps me wipe off this knife. It's kind of a little thing, makes it a little bit easier. You can grab as much, trying to get as much out of the can as you possibly can. And then you don't have to tap on the side, you just do it that way. So that's that. Stir that in a little bit. And try not to let it stick. Okay. Now we're going to put in a cup of water. So I'm going to grab my measuring cup again. Fill it with a cup of water. And I'm going to go ahead and pour that in there. Okay. That will also help cool off just a little bit while you're putting the other stuff in. Grab another drink of my cranberry juice. Again, I swear it's just regular cranberry juice. All right, so once you start stirring this stuff in, now we move on to the next. We're going to use a medium can of diced tomatoes. Do not get the flavored diced tomatoes or the stewed tomatoes or the roasted tomatoes. Make sure it's regular diced plain tomatoes. Again, Aldi has these. Of course, you can get it anywhere, but again, I always talk about Aldi. So again, I'm opening it up. I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. This is a 14.5 ounce can. You can use up to a 16 ounce can, but to be honest with you, I've never actually found a 16 ounce can, so 14.5 ounce can will work just fine. So take that, put that aside, and then I'm going to take 2 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce. This is not Aldi, only because Aldi was out of them. So I'm going to take 2 8-ounce cans of the tomato sauce. Again, just regular plain tomato sauce. None of the flavored ones that they have out now where you can get that already has seasonings and things in it, because that will mess up the flavor of the Creole. Creole is very, very much about the symphony, not a solo, because every ingredient in here helps bring out the flavor of another ingredient. It's a very interesting dish, and so you got to make sure that you're not introducing things that aren't actually supposed to be in here. So you're not introducing the sauces that have already seasonings in it. Okay, so put those aside, and again, we're going to stir. Just want to keep stirring. Make it nice and mixed up there. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take salt and pepper. Now, the recipe typically calls for about 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper. So I'm going to take my kosher salt, but as you know, I'm not real big on measuring. So I'm going to salt, and I'll salt to taste. And the reason I'll do that is because, again, know your audience. I'm going to turn down some because you can see it's starting to boil. I put a little bit in, and then I add more as I taste it later to make sure. But you can see it do that, and then I'm going to grab the pepper, and again, a pepper mill grinder. We're just going to grind the pepper in. Set up. Again, you can always add more as you taste it to see what it's like. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I'm going to take my cayenne pepper. I'm going to take my half a teaspoon. As soon as I get the lid off. There we go. My cayenne pepper, again, Aldi. I'm going to take this, and we're going to put it in there. Okay. Again, same thing. You can always add more. If you taste it, it doesn't taste quite right, you want to add more to it. So stir this up here. Next thing I'm going to do is I am going to, I've got to finish stirring this a little more, I'm going to add 2 to 3 bay leaves. I'm actually going to put in 3 because I tend to like just a little bit sweeter. So I'm going to take the bay leaves. I'm going to put in 1. These are kind of broken up, so 2, and the other one kind of makes 3. So put that in there, and you're going to stir it up. Again, the spiciness is good, but I do like mine just a little bit sweeter. Okay. So after we're done doing that, now we're going to take our sugar. The recipe again calls for 1 teaspoon of sugar, but again, I'm just going to throw a pinch in there. So there's my sugar. Okay. I'm going to throw a pinch in there. And again, if you need to, as always, you can add more as you go. Next thing I'm going to add, after I stir this up some more, is I'm going to add in Worcestershire sauce. You're going to see a lot of things that I do that are these bigger dishes have Worcestershire sauce in it. So I'm going to use Worcestershire sauce. It calls for 2 teaspoons, but again, I'm just going to dash it out here. That looks good. I'll put a little more in there. All right, that looks good. Stir it up. Okay. Again, as you can see, it looks like it's starting to thin out a little bit, which is good. We're going to take now some lemon juice. Okay, just regular old lemon juice. Same stuff that you've seen me use in other recipes. Pour some in there. That's going to cut down on the spiciness a little bit, help with the sweetness to it, but it's also going to it's going to add a little bit of flavor, which is going to be really, really good. So that is everything that we're going to add to this. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and we're going to let this simmer for about 30 minutes. Turn it down. Once it starts to boil, turn it up a little bit. Get it to start boiling. And then as you see it boil, we'll turn down to low and let it simmer. And as you can see, it pretty much starts to do it right away. So now we're going to turn to low and let it simmer. You want to leave it covered. You want definitely cover it when you do this, because for a couple reasons. One, you don't want it to pop out all over the place, but it also does make it cook a little bit better too. So keep it covered. You don't have to stir it while it's in there, so just let it sit and simmer and do its thing. When we come back, we'll get the rice started, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So sit tight just a moment. Okay, and we're back, and now we're going to make the rice. So rice, real easy. It's rice. So we're going to do 2 cups of water for every 1 cup of dry rice we're going to put in. So I'm doing the 2 cups right now. There's 2 cups. We're actually going to put 4 cups of water total and 2 cups of dry rice, which will then make, when the rice fully cooks, it'll actually make 4 cups of rice, which is really all you need for this. So put that away. Now I'm going to grab my bag of rice. And I got the rice, my fishmonger and my butcher shop has rice, so just use a big bag of rice, as you can see. So I'm going to take 1 cup. Okay, 1 cup. And then I'm going to pour that in there. And I'm going to fill this with a second one. Like 2 cups of dry rice will turn into, like I said, 4 cups of cooked rice. So put it in there. And we're going to turn on the stove. Put this aside. And obviously for the rice, what you want to see it boil. And then you turn down, you cover it up, you simmer it until it's done, about a half an hour. So that's real easy for that. So we're going to check this real quick. I know I said you don't have to stir it, but if you feel you need to, you can. But like I said, let it sit for about a half an hour. Really, the whole idea, or the best way to tell if it's done is when the rice is done, your Creole's done. Okay? It's cooked long enough, so basically when the rice finishes, then you know the Creole's done. But we'll show you something right before the Creole's done to get this going. So we're going to cook the rice, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you right before the Creole is done, or right before the rice is done, I'm going to show you what to do with the shrimp, to get the shrimp in there, and go from there. So again, sit back. We're going to let this go ahead and start its thing, and keeping an eye on the rice as well. For it's done when all the water is cooked out of the pot. That's how you know it's done. You can taste it too if you like, but that's a good indicator when it's done. Usually takes about 25 minutes to cook the rice. So sit back, enjoy, keep checking on the Creole. Again, don't walk away from the Creole. If you think that it's still boiling too much and you do want to stir it, you can. It looks fine. You can smell it, and oh, it smells amazing. I wish we could have smell camera. So while I'm waiting for this to get all done, we're going to pause. I'm going to drink some cranberry juice. I'm going to sit down because my back hurts. And we'll be back, and we'll do the shrimp, and then we'll put it all together and show you what it's like. All right? Sit tight. Okay, the rice is still cooking. Got a few more minutes left to go on the rice. Like I said, it takes about 25 minutes or so for the rice to cook. But while we're doing that, I'm going to grab basically 2 bags of the cooked salad shrimp that I said we got frozen. Just look like that. Okay, cooked salad shrimp. It's actually 1 pound per bag. I'm going to take 2 bags. I'm going to open them up. As soon as I figure out how to open this. There we go. Open it up. I'm going to take the lid off here. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour the shrimp right into the Creole mixture. Okay? It didn't actually open, so hold on a second. Gotta love these things. Have to cut it. So anyway. Alright. I always love when you have little technical difficulty. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and just pour that right in. Again, it's cooked, but it's frozen. You can go ahead and put it right in there while it's frozen. Okay? That's actually just fine, because what's going to happen is you're going to let it cook for a little while more, and that's going to heat up the shrimp real quick. So go ahead and put that in there. Okay? And then we're going to stir it. And you can see that it actually does, the salad shrimp actually does a great job of being a lot of shrimp in there. So you get the shrimp that you're looking for without having to have the 2 biggest shrimp. And this, again, you can do what you want. Again, we're giving you the blueprint, but I do like the salad shrimp because you do get a lot more shrimp in there and it more tasty. So I'm going to go ahead and close that back up. I'm going to let that continue to cook. We'll come right back when the rice is done, and then I'll put it all together and show you what it looks like, and we'll try it, and you'll see how wonderful it is. So, all right, and we're back. The rice is just about done, so we'll take a look at that. Yep, you can see the rice is done. There's no water left in there. So we'll cover that back up, turn that off. This is done. As I said, you know it's done when the rice is done. You want to put the shrimp back in, or the shrimp in, probably like I said, about 5 to 6 minutes before the rice is done. And then turn it up, get it to start to boil, and then turn it down and finish simmering. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. I'm going to get ready to try this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to reach in here, grab just a little bit of rice. Actually, a lot of rice, but just for the tasting part of it, we'll go and then we'll put that back on there. And I'll move this back here. Okay, I'm going to reach in here. I'm going to spoon out or ladle out some of the Creole. You can see, get a nice mixture of the green pepper and the shrimp and the celery and all the sauce and things like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put this up. Hi there. Let me get a fork. Now again, like I said, when you're doing this, when you taste it, if you think it needs a little more sugar or a little more spice, a little more salt, something like that, you can always add it. I've been doing this a long time, so I think that I've got it down, but we're going to find out in just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and try this. Take some of the rice with the shrimp and a piece of celery. It looks like a piece of pepper in there as well. And oh, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Another bite because it's really good. So it's perfect. So I'll put that aside. And that's it. That is shrimp Creole, kidney stone style. Now, it's shrimp Creole. Easy to make. The whole thing, top to bottom, from preparation to cooking to finishing up, takes less than an hour. So, I mean, it really is fairly easy. You have a nice time, a nice amount of time to spend with your loved one. My wife will be down in just a minute. She's almost done putting reading the stories to the boys, as we always talk about. Taking a sip of my drink of my cranberry juice. All right. So it's a real easy dish to make. It does give you some nice leftovers too, and Creole the second day is just as good, if not better, than the first day. So definitely have enough left over to eat for another day or two afterwards. So enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you saw how easy it was to make. I hope you try it. I hope you love it. And again, if you know anybody who is looking for some great tips on how to make some good food, please share the recipes. Please share the link for the channel. And tell all your friends to subscribe and comment. Those of you who are watching, comment. Let me know what you thought of it. Let me know what you think I could change. Let me know if you tried it and what it was like. I hope you really, really, really enjoyed it. I hope that you'll come back and watch the next episode. Again, every Saturday night, 8 p.m., we go up with a new episode. And if you can't watch it then, it's, of course, always there, so you can go back and watch it later. So share with your friends. Get them to subscribe. Comment. The more comments, the more subscriptions, the more chance you show up on other people's feeds, which means the more subscribers and the more chance we get to do a lot more of this. So, again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try it. I hope you love it. And I hope you have a great date night with your loved one, your spouse, what have you. And again, as always, I look forward to our next episode of Cooking with Michael. Thanks again and have a great night, everyone. Good night.